Welcome director John Hillcoat, Anthony Mackie, and Chiwetel Ejiofor. Gentlemen, welcome. How are you all? Are we good? We well?
Yeah, good.
I'm slightly worried. Anthony, by the way, just backstage, we might as well get this out of the way now, has just been doing the whole thing in British. Slightly scary. Do you want to get any out of the way now? Are we good?
Not true. That is wildly not true.
I'm not sure what Chiwetel's been teaching you, but we got to apples and pears and it got very awkward. Such a pleasure to see you all. First of all, I don't mind saying this when it genuinely is true. This is my film of the year so far. I think it's just phenomenal. Absolutely a phenomenal piece of work. I saw it last night. It took me back to some of the films that I actually grew up and got me into movies. It kind of had that reminiscent of Heat, for example. It had that underlining depth to it for stuff like that, maybe the French Connection as well. What was your inspiration when you first read the script, John?
French Connection and Heat.
Oh, are you serious?
That's amazing.
Wow, you owe me a tenner. Are you serious?
I am serious.
Wow.
I mean, I actually, the script had the mechanics of the script just had a great setup in it that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
So, but I love those films, and I love the reality in those films. So we all try to, because a lot of the action thriller crime films have an unreality these days. So we all were quite committed about, getting the realism.
It felt like we hadn't seen that kind of realism in a crime drama, maybe since The Departed, which of course was another fantastic piece of work. Chiwetel, what was it for you when you read the script? What brought you from, again, an Academy Award-winning movie to choose this as a next project?
Well, actually, I'd spoken to John about it like a long time ago, like maybe I think it's like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Is it longer than that?
Actually, yeah.
Remember in Los Angeles we talked about it? Like,
Of course
I
remember.
Yeah, I'm easy to forget. It's blended in.
If you two want to be alone, me and Anthony could pop out.
I'm terrible with time, but I think it was, it would have been about, 2010? Yes.
Really? Like,
okay.
Years, okay.
Yeah.
So in that sort of time frame, we met and talked about it, and then it kind of went away, and you did another movie, and like there was a lot of it just sort of was doing its thing.
Yep. We had to wait for Anthony to become available.
Yeah, it was Marvel.
Yeah.
And
when the franchises slowly,
when it dried up for Anthony,
are you saying that Marvel may have paid more? Is that what you're saying? Exactly. Anthony, anything you want to say? Yeah. You'll put the wings on for money, right?
Oh, no doubt. You have $20. I'll pull my wings out right now.
Basically, 3 streets that way. There's a lot of people do the same, buddy. You're not going there. What was it about this script then that took you to it as well? What was it that inspired you? What did you see in that script on that first read-through?
I thought there was a certain level of reality with all the characters that I really liked. I love the fact with my character that, he was torn. He's a bad cop, and he's doing things for a specific reason, but at the same time, he's torn why he's doing it. Instead of just, I'm bad, I know I'm bad, and I'm going to do this because I'm bad, He has a certain a tammer about the way he feels about what he's doing. And you don't really get to see that. You don't get to do that, I feel, as an actor. It's like, usually the director comes to you and say, okay, you're the bad guy, you're the good guy, and it never came across that way.
I was going to say, that's what's really interesting about this film. You don't know who to root for. You know there's corruption. You feel for it, but you feel for each of your characters. For example, Chiwetel, you're fighting for a cause. You're fighting for part of family. For the son. You're fighting possibly for greed at the beginning, but obviously there's an element of conscience that creeps in. Is that rare to find in a script nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that you're dealing with a really complex set of characters who are, on one level, like totally morally bankrupt and totally nihilistic, really, in their outlook, but also real people, and that's why you do have an element of empathy with them. I think when I read the script, I kind of liked the idea of playing someone who was on exactly that, like on one level, like doing it because he had decided to not essentially care about whether what he's doing is morally right or not. He knows it's wrong, but on another side is cornered into it and feels that he has a sort of that there is a kind of empathy that is possible for that character, and I like that duality. I thought that was interesting to play with because I think that's so much part of the kind of moral universe anyway. That ethically it always is so grey, and all of these characters I think are quite grey. Even the good guys are a little funky. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, I don't even know if I like him that much.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. You don't want to hang out with any of them, to be fair. John, I wonder if you can talk us through the cast because when you have a script
I
like
wanted
this,
to hang out with Irina.
didn't we all? Talk me through the cast because this cast is.
Sorry, that came out wrong.
It is an ensemble. I mean, when you get a cast list like this, how do you go about getting this many incredible, talented people in one movie and making time frames work? That's got to be tough, right?
Yeah, no, it was a huge. That's partly one of the main reasons it took so long was because there's 8 main characters to find, in everyone's schedule that time slot was enormously difficult. So at one point I was going to make it before Lawless, then it kind of changed gears, and there was a real momentum with some of the producers that came on board that just thought, okay, let's go.
I mean, there was a lot of talk, I think it was maybe 2012 when we, as film fans started to hear a little bit about this, and I think Shia LaBeouf was kind of somewhere attached, and Cate Blanchett, and scripts. Did the script change? Did people's availability change?
Well, I mean, the engine, the mechanics of the script were always there, and Matt came up with, this incredible thing that actually is from a policeman, a friend of his, that told him that, about this code, the 999 that they have, which is, for those people that don't know, it means an officer down, and, in America, all the policemen, rush to the scene of the crime. So it triggered in him this idea of, well, that's great diversion, if you're under pressure to pull off something like an impossible heist. So I think what changed is actually all our cast brought extra personality and enriched the characters, and I needed that kind of real, when you have 8 main characters, you want to, and exactly what you're talking about, no one's exactly what they seem, and we wanted to make everyone 3-dimensional, to enrich them. So I think the cast brought a lot, I think the research brought a lot, but for me, with a script, it's always in flux, even in post-production, there's, the music changes things, the editing, it's an ongoing process.
Let's talk about research, because
sorry, and I would add that it was originally set in LA, and that changed as well, because resetting it in Atlanta, which was a happy accident, it started as a tax rebate out of necessity, and then it actually enriched the film further, I think, because it got away from the West Coast, East Coast thing that we've seen a million times, and Atlanta had a rich kind of freshness to it, I think.
And rain as well, presumably. Probably some nice rain in Atlanta. You're going to get that in LA. Let's talk about research, because it's wet. There's a moment in the movie, and I don't want to give too much away. I think we're really careful about spoilers here. But there's a moment where the police are looking at the CCTV or the video footage of the gang, if you like, for lack of a better word. And they mention that they look very tactical. They look like the professionals. Do you get that training? Do you go into that? Do you know how to handle the guns? Do you work with the police? Do you work with the SWAT? Do you work with the tactical people to make sure that's genuine?
Yeah, that's a very important part of the of the process. For me, I haven't really. I've done some stuff with guns before this film, but not much. So I was kind of interested initially to go down to the gun range and hang out with the guys and start that process, and then I kind of I sort of got into it, you know, and I got into the guns, and then I mean, it sounds, but I kind of got into the whole like kind of concept of it, and then we were working with these we were shooting AR-15s and doing tactical training, and just the sort of momentum of that, and the kind of at times the kind of fog of war of that, you know, because at points there were groups of us going, you know, not actors, but me and people from, you know, this world who are sort of Navy SEALs who have done extraordinary, like mind-blowing, like sort of activities around the world, firing all these weapons. There's like shells, they're all live ammunition. There's like red casings flying everywhere. I'm going through these myths, like trying to do this thing and feeling weirdly very calm about it and engaged with it, and then, you know, running out of bullets on an AR-15, pulling out another, like, a weapon, and then carrying on, and, like, you know, thinking I could just do, like, a tactical T.J. Hooker roll, and, you know, and suddenly getting, like, totally caught up. And then, you know, I was doing a lot of, like, training, like, weights training and stuff, and, you know, just in the time, and realizing that as a lifestyle, you know, which is this character's lifestyle, you know, I was really engaged with it, you know, and kind of had to be in this universe and to sort of play this part, but finding it very engaging and in its own way seductive, and understanding something that I'd not really understood before about that side of the culture. You know?
What about for you, Anthony?
Well, it's interesting because my character was a detective, so, you know, bringing Marcus to life, it was very important to have the comfort level of the majority of your time awake, you have a pistol on your hip. And I feel like a lot of people spend time with guns, they shoot guns, they know how to work guns, but the ultimate rule of a gun is knowing when to use it, not how to use it, especially with a police officer. And all the cops I talk to who are friends of mine, they always say, it's not how many times you shoot, it's knowing who to shoot. And so for me, it was more so because, you know, I have a permit for my weapon. It's permitted.
They're both packing right now.
But I grew up with guns, you know. I mean, not like walking down the street breakdancing with a gun, but like, you know, I grew up on a farm, so we went hunting and things like that. So it was just, it was a different experience for me. It was more so about, you know, how do you get in a car and dislodge your gun and do those things. So, you know, Marcus, his comfort level was different. And it was a very specific weapon he chose to use. You know, it wasn't a man killer, it was a bounty stopper. You know, and I didn't have hollow tip bullets. I wanted shaver bullets. So when they hit you, you know, you knew you were hit. It didn't tear you to pieces, but it'll stop you. You know, and things like that.
This has got very specific, right?
I don't know whether I'm excited or scared right now. It's a fine line.
Hollow tips and talons in the clip.
I was just thinking I can't make the drink afterwards now because I've got someone else on. But thank you, buddy.
Actually, I found out something really interesting. Someone explained it that if you're Navy SEALs trained, you've fired millions of rounds. If you're military, you've fired hundreds of thousands. If you're cop, you've fired thousands. Right. So it's actually, the high end, it's like muscle memory. And there is, and what you were saying about the use of the weapon is totally different from someone like a Navy SEALs training.
Right. How do you go about? Because I believe I think I have this correct that you use some real police, you use real SWAT in the movie as well. Are they walking around going, Anthony, hold it down, buddy, get it right? Whoa, it looks good, but it's wrong. You know, are they advising you? Are they telling you how to do it?
You know, it was interesting when we did the scene with the heads on the car. We actually
I'm hoping you're all old enough to see that.
Yeah, you know. We had real gang members out there. And then there were certain days where we had rival gangs on set. Remember that? Yeah. And we had tactical cops, like real gang enforcement cops out there. And they're like, you know, keep those dudes over there or else some shit gonna break out. You know, and me being dumb, I'm like, hey, guys, hey. Oh, man, you're in the gang? I was in a gang. We played marbles. they're like, nah, we kill people. Oh, nice to meet you. But the gang cops, the SWAT guys were extremely helpful, especially when we did the moves like securing the apartments and chasing the guys down. That whole sequence, they were very involved and very, very helpful in telling us where to go, how to do it, what to say. You know, because it's not like you just bust in a room and you're like, clear the room, and everybody disperse. It's like, no, there's one dude, and he gives everybody orders as you move, step by step. And, you know, if you don't do that every day, if you don't have that training, you can't just make that up.
I was just wondering how you actually go to the Atlanta police and go, hey, we're making a movie about police corruption. You want to be in it? No. Should we get some questions from the audience? Let's see if you guys have a question for any of the guys. If you do, put your hands up and we'll see if we can find you. Is there anyone? No.
My man right here. My man right here. Right here.
Hello, so let's get a microphone to the front there.
I don't know. First of all, the movie sound looks amazing, right? I just wondered whether the moral ambivalence that you have in the movie has any relation to Breaking Bad. I just love that as well, where you take someone who was good and then you send them back. I don't know if that's part of your plot, maybe. Also, I've drawn you guys.
Oh, I wish Aaron was here now. He was
Yeah,
on his
where's
way.
Aaron?
He was coming.
Aaron
I'm sorry.
Paul.
You were here for him, weren't you?
No, but seriously, the thing that television has done it's kind of taken that mature audience and they actually celebrate flawed, complex characters. Where and I think it's sad that the movie business has kind of lost its nerve a bit on that, you know. But you know.
Can I ask you a question about that to a degree? Because you seem to have a lot of freedom in this movie. This movie does push the boundaries of what we've seen in films for a long time. We know a lot of movies that get cut to get a wider audience. This movie doesn't hold back. And I think that's part of its gritty realism and the beautiful side of it. Was there ever a point that you were kind of building gags into the movie and thinking, this won't make, you know, we can't actually do this? And I don't want to give too much away, but, you know, if you've seen the Red Band trailer, we see the heads on the bonnet, for example. Was there ever a point you were like, this is too much, this won't work? Like, we won't be allowed to go this far?
Well, that's the story of my life.
I've seen Lawless.
Actually, one of the producers, Keith Redman, over there, yeah, he was just constantly trying to cut out all the good stuff. Why are you, Keith?
I would never have asked the question if I knew he was here.
No, there was, I think everyone, there's always a balance and there's always different battles that go on about these sort of things. But I think, you know, everyone that signed on knew what sort of film we were trying to make.
And for you guys, was there ever a point that you were like, was there ever anything, I mean, presumably it was all in the script, but you kind of going, wow, we're pushing the boundaries of film here, because it really does go further than I think a film has done for a while.
No, I think if you've had any interaction with the cops, I mean, except the cops here. The cops here are just like, they're not cops, right?
Well, I mean, they don't know about hollow points and all that stuff, mate.
Like, it's the cop.
But if
We
you're
were
naughty
walking
coming
over
out of
here.
a pub, we'll tell you off.
Right. It's like, hey, you there? You stop it. I'm going to take you to jail. Right?
Tell your mother.
I'll tell your mother. Spankings.
No, maybe you've gone too far a little bit there.
A little bit? I don't know. It was. I've seen 4 cops since I've been here, and literally 2 of them were playing Candy Crush outside of a coffee shop, and the other one was over here eating, like right outside here, eating a wrap. And we walked by, and he went, "Oh dear, hello." I was like, "What's up?" He went, "Hey." Back to his wrap. I'm like, these are the most unthreatening cops in the world.
Chiwetel, you live here. I mean, if you think, I mean, I feel like the Australian.
Maybe outside this building, you're okay. Well, I can take you down someplace.
We're in an Apple
We'll
store.
figure
It's
out
the
the
nicest
cost.
place on the planet, dude.
Yes, what was the question?
Aren't the police really lovely here? I think that's where we ended up. I think you've misunderstood the UK slightly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, come back for Civil War and we'll talk.
Hey, all the police I've met here are so nice.
Yeah.
You're like,
Anyway.
Well, let's before I let you guys go, let's talk very quickly. Civil War. Anything you will tell me that you would tell me on camera that you won't tell me anyway? Is there anything you will let me into? It looks like a game changer.
it's a war of civic proportions.
Rubbish. Thank you so much, Doctor Strange.
There it is.
Yeah,
That's the movie you're
the
in.
movie
dude.
you're in.
I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait for you guys to check it out. It's going to be amazing.
Are you signed to like some kind of I can't tell you anything kind of thing? Pretty much.
I mean, nothing formal. I just don't want to give the plot away.
Fair enough. It's very much like this movie in a way that you kind of you really want to tell everyone about it, but there's so much in this movie that you want them to discover as you discover it. Before I let you go, there's one thing that I wanted to mention to you guys. Last night I got to see the movie with an audience, and everyone did the same. After 15 minutes, that opening 15 minutes, you heard the whole room breathe out. And I think that's the most, I think tension is the ultimate word. Was that something you were always going for? Was it always planned to make the most tense movie you could?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I was just trying to make sure they didn't fall asleep at that point.
15 minutes in.
Yeah, that's the magic number. For
Yeah, exactly. That's always me. I'm done. Yeah.
No, but
You got
no.
me 16 minutes into a movie. I'm going to find out then.
I'm there for the next hour and 45 minutes.
Exactly.
No, but that kind of adrenaline and energy, and I've actually been itching to do something that was very contemporary and urban, and has a lot of energy.
That's where we come in.
Yeah. To answer your question, your previous question about the, like, were there times on set where I felt like, is this pushing it? Like, yeah, like quite a lot. You know, there were like a bunch of times, especially in the, like near the, what would be the, especially when you were around, especially like near the end of the film. You know, like, with just, there was just moments of just like, it's, it gets, these are characters who will take it like all the way, and it gets like pretty gnarly and in an exciting way. I mean, it's all driven by the characters. That's the thing about, I think, always with John's films, like the violence is also character driven. They go as far as, these characters go as far as they need to go in order to achieve the objectives that they need. It's never gratuitous, even though it can sometimes be pretty shocking. It is, I remember that in The Proposition. There were moments in The Proposition that I was like, what did I just see, and and it's part of like your sort of filmmaking style is like, it's honest, it's raw in that way.
I try to, I think, it's like our lives. I mean, it's our choices that shape, the things that happen. We're not all just chasing a pre-existing plot, which can happen. In the movies, that is.
But things change.
Well, in life. No.
I mean, things will change when Anthony tries to leave the store and the policeman in the rap comes for him. It's what's going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you. Do you want a rap? The movie is nothing short of phenomenal. I absolutely, genuinely love this film. It's fantastic. You can check it out on February the 19th when 999 is released here in the UK. Ladies and gentlemen, please go crazy for the director, Mr. John Hillcoat.
Thank you.
Anthony Mackie and Chiwetel Ejiofor.
And give it up for the sign language lady.